Hello all. In today's video, we are going to look at the most important point, that is what is meant by release note or release notes. So generally the release notes are the document that is distributed along with the software product. Sometimes when product is still in development or in test state. So for example in beta release for that particular product have already been in use by the client. So these release notes are delivered to the customer when there is some update. So basically, the release note is nothing but a document which is released as a part of final build that contain new enhancement, whatever will be the done in software. So mainly this release note document is usually written by the technical writers, which are communication, which is basically a communication document which may be shared with the basically shared with the client. So in simple term, you can remember the definition of release note like it is a list of things have which include the changes in the software since the last release. They tell you what was the bugs was in the early release and which bugs are fixed now, and is there any new feature is added, it included in the release note. So basically the release note is nothing but a change log which describes the customer what is happened extra, what are the different bugs you have fixed, and is there any additional feature is added in particular software. So basically always remember the release note explains you what are the new features added, what issues resolved, and in is there any improvement or new feature is added in the software. So basically these release notes are written by technical writer, developer, or QA or product manager. So why what is the necessity of this particular release note documentation, or why it is necessary to write this release note? So basically the release note is one document which is used for the communication purpose, which make a one way, or it provide a way to communicate with the end user. So it is showing what is new, what is fixed, what improvements are made in your software. By sharing this particular document you can communicate with your end user, and it's very effective way of communication. So these are the following are the points which are comes under when you are going to write down a release note, or what points you must have to include in the release note. So these are the basic point. So generally every release note is unique according to the software, or you can say by update or by organization. But for good understanding of technical information, or for good understanding or good convention of that particular software, these are few points which must be included in the release note. There are some less points or extra points may also be included in the release note, but these are the some basic point you can say. So while writing the release note, first you have to add the title or the header. So basically this particular title or header is the first section it include in the release note. So it contains the information like what is the document name or the product name. Okay, so it will give you, by looking at this particular header or the title, you can get to know regarding what product or what software it is this particular release note is related. So always remember or make sure while writing a title or header it should be catchy, short and sweet. So it convey what is the exactly you have to convey with the end user, or related information, or it must be related with your product or software. Second, it include the company or product detail. So basically here you can add your company registered name, as well as your there is official name of your company. So or your product details you have to add in this particular section. Then the third section is credentials for the release version. So basically this credentials for the release version, it include which release version is this and what was the previous. So next next release version you have to mention in this credentials. Then add the schedule, means here basically you have to mention the date when the new version will be available to the public or end user, when it is going to be coming out. So here basically you have to mention this particular schedule. Then include the new feature details, means what extra features or extra functionality are added in this particular software or the product, you have to mention in this section. Then issues fixed in the product, means what was the issues in the last version and which issues you have fixed in this particular version, you have to include here. Then the next section is improvement made. So it include, you have to include the what are the different improvements you have made in the particular software. It may be related with the speed of your software, or you can say it's a search timing or uploading timing, like that. Then the next point, you may or may not include the notes. So in this particular section in notes you can include the steps of particular hardware or software installation. Then in contact you can include the contact information for customer support, like the number of technical support, then email id, some phone numbers or website link you have to include in the contact section. So this release note may differ from organization to organization or depending on the product, but these are the some basic points you have to include while writing the release note. So basically, as a software tester, you might raise the question like, what is the purpose of release note, or uh, why it is necessary to consider the release note, or reading the release note is important. So basically, always remember the release note provide the summarized detail about the software product. So as a tester, you have to go through the release note for testing the particular software, as it providing the additional information about the specific changes in the software. For example, you are doing a regression testing, right? So what was the next changes are done in this particular version, you get to know by reading this release note. So it act as a user guide for the client and end user, as well as for the stakeholders related with the software. So basically the main purpose of release note, it act as a record of current software, which include the each and every information related to software, including features, versions, improvement, issues fixed. So basically, so this is the main purpose of release note. You will get each and every detailed information about the software. So always remember, go thoroughly with the release note. And if you get a chance to write down the release note, make sure you are including all these points with the this particular release note. And while writing the release note, use always simple, plain, easy, clear language. Should not use the heavy technical words, or don't include the very high technical words. Keep this release note very short and precise. So, and try to include the details or the extra features you have added in the software. So, thank you all. Please do comment on which point you want a next video. To subscribe to our channel, please like and share. Thank you.